All right, so this video is going to be on the non 3 3/4 inch shelf. That's the bottom shelf. All the things that aren't from the 3 3/4 inch line, which was the action figures here. So they made more than just action figures. Kenner made jumbo figures. There's a Lily Ledy Darth Vader from Mexico, a Darth Vader from Japan, some pieces to a game. You know, they made the jumbo figures, the Yoda puppet, Burger King glasses. So these are just things that were made for Star Wars that aren't part of the 3 3/4 inch line. Just finished rearranging it all, cleaning in there. So I'm going to show you all the different items we have in there. All right, so here are the Burger King glasses. When I was a kid, we had almost all of them from all three movies. I don't know what happened to them, but I acquired these as an adult. I think I got these at Crown Point Toys, both of these. I love the artwork on them. They did make them for Star Wars and Empire. Eventually, I'll get a couple from those movies too. But there it tells you a little bit about Jabba. And just awesome artwork on these. I always thought it was cool. When I was a kid, these were a big deal, going to Burger King as soon as the new one came out. I don't remember what you had to buy in order to get them, but very cool. And like I said, eventually I'll get some from, or one or two anyway, from Star Wars and Empire. I don't need all of them. But these were real popular back in the 80s, late 70s, and they're still popular today. There's a pretty big demand for these. So if you ever come across them in an antique store or a secondhand store or something, go ahead and pick them up if they're a good price. Next up, I just grabbed two random things. A lot of you are familiar with the Yoda puppet. This was one of the cooler toys that for the non 3 3/4 inch line that Kenner made. This I actually got at a garage sale for 95 cents. Back when Empire Strikes Back was still the new movie. I got this in like 1981 or 82. It was before Return of the Jedi came out. My mom and I went to a garage sale, and they had a snow speeder, a jumbo Boba Fett, which I'll be pulling out, and a few other Empire Strikes Back things that were all bare bones, kind of beat up. This one, unfortunately, they put the price tag. They wrote it right on there, but right there. But yeah, we got it at a garage sale when I was a kid, and still have it. The van is a good example of, in 1977, you know, nobody knew the movie was going to be such a big hit. Kenner wasn't going to have any toys out until January, but the movie was a big hit in May. So Kenner just took some stock toys that they had and slapped Kenner stickers on there or decals. So this van, it was one that you put the piece of plastic in there and pulled it out and it would roll. I don't have any of the accessories for it, but it's pretty cool. I like the artwork on it. There's a black one with Darth Vader and the Imperial people on it. They're not real expensive, probably a little bit more if you want them complete with the box and everything. But they were desperate to get toys out, so they took a lot of their existing toys and just put Star Wars logos on them and got them out in the stores until they could finally get these guys in the stores in early 78. So now we can take a look at some die-cast ships that Kenner made. That card back is for a snow speeder, which I actually don't have, but I bought the card back. It wasn't expensive, mainly because I just love that colorful artwork on there. And so this is from Empire Strikes Back. Let me turn it around, and you can see some of the other ships that they made. That TIE Bomber is the one that you'll pay a lot of money for. The rest of them aren't real expensive, but the TIE Bomber, it gets up there in price. And we get a little bit closer to look here. That's the Y-Wing fighter, and everybody's favorite, the Millennium Falcon. Get a look in there. And with this one, it's very common for that shield to be missing. That one's on there. But these are pretty cool. They make for a nice display in my cabinet. I don't need to have all of them. That's a really cool one. That's a Imperial an Imperial Star Destroyer. And there it is right there. So the die-cast ones, they made quite a few, and like I said, the Tie Bomber, they didn't make as many of. It might have been a Sears exclusive at one point, but I see that one sell for a lot more money. But there you have it, the Diecast toys. So these are some erasers. These were made by, it says on the packaging, the Spindex Corp. And the two loose ones, the Emperor's Royal Guard and Wicked, are actually from my childhood. I've had them ever since then. The Gamorrean Guard, I think I got that for under $10 on eBay. Still unopened, but these are, you can see they're very small. Really cool. I never used them, so the ones from when I was a kid, they're in pretty good shape still. And here's a look at the back. Kind of rough looking, but you know, these toys are over 40 years old, and so the packaging, if it's on there at all, just be grateful, because most of them got opened up and the packaging got thrown away. So you can't be too picky sometimes with the condition on some of these old toys. But those are erasers, and if you have them like I did and you never use them, good for you. They're not worth a whole lot of money, but I think they're pretty cool. All right, I just wanted to show real quick. I'm pulling stuff out and I'm going to dust. Dust is not a big problem, but you do get a real small layer, especially close to the doors. I really only dust this like a couple times a year, but I just wanted to show how I have some of this displayed. This piece of glass was actually from a shadow box, and you can see a star case is the riser. And that's just to lift up this Darth Vader here that I'm going to pull out in a little bit. And it also allowed me to put the metal die-cast ships down there. So that's where we're at. But like I said, I'm not going to rearrange a whole lot, but maybe a little bit. All right, so these little pieces, and you can see how small these are. These were from a 3D board game about Jabba's Sarlacc pit. And it was a gift to me when I was a little kid, and I had it with all my Star Wars stuff in my mom's basement. And when I went over there and pulled the stuff out, after years of being down there, the whole cardboard for the game, I had the game, it had never been played with, the box, everything, but everything was moldy. The only thing salvageable were these really cool pieces. And I'm a big Gamorrean Guard freak, so I like the fact that there's a lot of those, but let's see if we can get a little bit better picture here. There you go. So you can see Han, Leia, Chewie. No Luke, which I thought was weird. I don't, or maybe I just don't have them. I thought I got all the pieces, but there's Jabba and the Gamorrean Guards. So these were just little plastic pieces for that board game. And I never played the game, you know, to be honest. I didn't really, and I was by myself. I didn't have anybody to play it with anyway. So, but the little plastic pieces are cool. And now we're on to my Takara figures that are down there. I've actually done a video on them before, so I won't spend a lot of time, but Darth Vader is die cast, and he's very cool. I'll put my hand in there so you can see. So he's about that big. Very anime looking. Doesn't really look like the American Darth Vader at all, but super cool. And that's a little packaging that came with it. They made these little vinyl toys too, that one of these days I'll get one of those. This is what Vader came with: crossbows, arrows, and so clearly, you know, they weren't real familiar with the movie. And this little stand he comes on, and the box I love that Japanese writing. Everything about this box is super cool. And there's styrofoam in there for him to go into. And so that's what he would, I don't want to take the stuff out of the plastic bag. So that's what he looked like, what he would look like with it in his hand. And that Japanese writing is cool. This is just one of my favorite things in the entire collection. The R2-D2 is also die cast. If you look in that hole, you see pictures from the film. You turn his head and the pictures change. He opens up there with some weird stuff in there that'll close up too. But he doesn't stand all that great. But Takara made really cool stuff, and these were not released in the US or anywhere else as far as I know, just Japan. for the Japanese market. They're all fully licensed, but Takara had the ability to make some of their own toys too. They also imported Kenner toys to Japan too, but that's Takara. All right, next we have the jumbo figures, and these were super cool when I was a kid. I had Darth Vader and Chewbacca, and that Boba Fett there I got at a garage sale that I mentioned earlier when I was a kid in like 1981, 82. So we're gonna get a little bit closer. This is my favorite one. This is actually not Kenner. This is Lily Letty, I don't know, however it's pronounced. The Mexican company that had the license to make the figures in Mexico. And you can see how different he is than the regular Kenner Darth Vader. Now, I've already done a video on the two of these together, so I don't need to spend a lot of time, but that is the Vader cape from my childhood. That's not the Vader figure. My figure is falling apart. They're just held together by a rubber band inside. And I got mine wet when I was a kid, so that rubber band has about had it, so it's falling apart. So it sits in a box in the closet for now. So, Letty, whatever, Darth Vader, super cool, very different, totally different sculpt. I think they just took the body of an existing doll that they had and made a Vader head for it. And there you have C-3PO, Stormtrooper. These are not all complete either. They're very expensive to get them complete. There's R2-D2. You know, some of them are complete, but they came with, you know, Han and Luke, I think, both came with a medal that they got at the end of the Star Wars movie. And I don't have all of that stuff. You know, Jabba came with a cape and a gun, but I was just trying to have one of each. I didn't feel like spending the money to have them complete because they're very expensive. IG-88, if he's complete, he goes for several $100s. So there's the Boba Fett I got at a garage sale when I was a kid. And these were all the ones that they made. Boba Fett, you know, they were making him under Star Wars card backs, but IG-88 was the only one that really came out for Empire Strikes Back, and then they just quit making them. You know, when I was a kid, like I said, I had Chewbacca, which got lost in one of my moves, Darth Vader, which is, again, in a box in the closet. So Boba's the only one of these from my childhood, but they were cool and I liked them, but you couldn't really play with them. All you could do was put them up on display, which, of course, little kids, they want to play with that stuff. So here's a box. You get to see these guys out of the way. And let's see, R2-D2 box. And it's, you know, it's not in bad shape for being almost 50 years old. That's the back there. So, you know, when you're buying these old toys, it is what it is. You know, you don't get to choose conditions. So sometimes in the price point you're looking for, you got to sell for not so complete. Vader's complete. Chewbacca is. Some of them are, but C-3PO didn't come with anything, so he's complete. Stormtrooper's complete. But anyway, those are jumbo figures, and let's move on. Okay, I wanted to show, I got some records back there. The Star Wars and Empire 45s are from my childhood, just a little story of the movies. And then the Return of the Jedi I got as an adult. Most of the cards, about half of them are from my childhood. The other half are from a friend of mine's childhood. And I bought those on open packs as an adult. And there's some jumbo ones. So the records are cool, though. I've kept those all these years, too. In used condition, but they're pretty cool. So I think I'm just going to leave those up for right now. But look how empty we are. So a little bit of a wipe down, and as you can see, the dust doesn't get too bad, but there's a little bit in there. And then I'm going to have this looking awesome pretty soon. So this item is interesting. This is the radio control R2-D2, and it came out in '78. And you can see the Italian writing there. This is the version that was released in Italy. And Harbert was the company that had the license to release figures in Italy. And they didn't make any of their own figures or anything. They didn't make anything there. They just used Kenner toys and put their packaging on there. Some of the 3 3/4 inch figures are just regular Kenner card backs with the little Harbert sticker on there. This one, I've had it for about 4 years or so, and believe it or not, I've never put batteries in it to see if it worked. So I just put batteries in. R2, he takes 2 C batteries and a 9 volt, and then the remote control takes a 9 volt. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it on and see if it works. Okay, so on the back, there's this little on-off button. Whoop, it made a noise. That's a good sign. I don't even know what to do with this. I got this remote control. Let's hope I don't break anything. And nothing happened in there. He did make a little noise when I turned him on, but the remote isn't working. Let's see. All right, well, we see what happened when I took the battery out. It took off a piece of this, so yeah, the remote control doesn't work. R2, if there's something going on with him, because so the light, the light came on and he made a noise, but that's about it. I could probably find another remote control online if I wanted to, but it's not that big of a deal to me. He's just for display anyway. In fact, I keep him in the box all the time. So that is the very cool Harbert R2-D2 with the non-functional remote control. R2 works okay. And I'll get another shot of that really cool Harbert logo and that awesome Italian writing too. So radio control R2-D2. All right, these 2 books are pretty interesting. A friend of mine gave these to me from her childhood collection. The books were made by Scholastic, and again, they were just trying to get anything with Star Wars. I mean, this one here is just a book about space, where and it's really, it has nothing to do with Star Wars. It's just a book about space, but they put R2-D2 and C-3PO on there anyway just to sell it. And this one is actually more of a storybook about the first movie. Very cool, and in pretty good condition for their age. Turn them over. There's some really nice artwork of Darth Vader on the back. So those are Scholastic books that were just made, again, just something with the Star Wars logo on them. All right, we have some Topps trading cards here. I have unopened packs from each movie. I just put them in these little cases. And this unopened giant one, which is so tempting, I kind of want to open it, but I won't. You can see how much bigger it is compared to the other ones. Topps made baseball cards like this too back in the 80s, I know. And the one down here, I know I did a video on him before, but that's what they call the goldenrod, the C-3PO boner card, where the story goes a Topps employee did that on purpose. And by the time Topps caught it, a whole bunch of them had been released. So I think the one without him and the goldenrod is actually a little more rare than this one, but it's a very popular card. And there's the back. It's just a part of a little poster. In my other video, I explained that when my friend brought this in, and she brought in these, I have extra cards, just really, they're all nice condition. She brought in about 3 of these were the cards, and set the box down in front of me at where I work. And I told her about the C-3PO card. And as soon as I'm done telling her about it, I reach in the very middle of the box, randomly grab a card, and wouldn't you know it, it was a C-3PO boner card. And I work in a gym, and we laughed so hard everybody thought we were crazy, but it looked like a magic trick. She brought in a box full of a couple hundred cards. I told her about that one, randomly reached in, and that was the one I picked out. So fun story for me, but that's a cool shot of George Lucas. Anyway, these are the Topps cards. They made a whole bunch of these, and a lot of people collect these too. I just have the ones from my childhood and my friend's childhood. I did buy these unopened packages as an adult, but I like them. They're interesting. They're just I don't have a whole lot of space to display them, so they kind of sit in the back. All right, one more thing I wanted to take a look at. That is an advertisement from Meccano. They were the French company that had the license to release figures in France. And this one is an Empire Strikes Back logo. And there's the Mira Meccano, all in French. Very cool. It's for the jumbo figures. That's why it's in that shelf. Right here, I just hid that in the background. That's a really old picture of me. And I know I have a couple of Star Wars figures in my hands there, but I can't tell which ones they are. But I just hid that in the shelf. So that's just a little advertisement. There's the back. It's that's pretty cool too. It's a Mickey Mouse advertisement in French. So Meccano, French company, released figures in France. Me looking like a hippie in the 70s. All right, so you're looking at a fairly empty shelf. I'm going to start putting things back in there, figuring out how I want to display everything. I'm going to change it up a little bit and look at this mess. How'd you like to be in charge of putting all that away? Give me a few minutes and it's going to look awesome. All right, I have everything back in, and take a closer look here. So I brought some of the cards up, moved the glasses around. I moved the jumbo figures so that they are just going across and they're all together. Took the big piece of glass out that the Takara Vader was on. Move these over here. Here's the other side. So in there I got the Meccano ad. So I just kind of changed it up a little bit. Like I said, you don't get much dust in this display case, but you do get a little bit. So it needs to be done every couple of times a year, so I did that today too. Anyway, that's the non 3 3/4 inch display. Hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully you learned some interesting stuff. And please go ahead and subscribe and check out some more videos, and I'll be making some again soon. Thanks a lot.